Gentlemen, we are making a minyan for mincha in the back of the tent. Anybody interested in a mincha minyan right now in the back of the tent?
Hello? Hi. What a wonderful day, right? So I guess everybody's ready to start. The girls are super excited to start, even with the rain. So if they're ready, we're supposed to be ready. So please clear the aisle. If you're standing on the aisle, please have a seat. Everybody find your seats, and don't forget to turn off your cell phone or put it on a silent mode. That will help. Let's keep the beautiful smile up because the girls, they work very, very hard through the year and they need your help. So, one more time. Ladies and gentlemen in the aisle, please clear the aisle so the girls will be so happy to see all you guys sitting down, proper. Now this is a good time to help build a school, right? Absolutely. As you can see, we do need a new building and you guys welcome to chip in. There we go. One more time, please clear the aisle. As we can see the girls, they are coming in, they're lining up. If you can, please clear the aisles. We'll start very shortly, in less than 2 minutes. Okay, we are almost there. Thank you for your patience. The rain stopped, Baruch Hashem, so we are ready to start. Please clear the aisle so we can start. Ready? Wait for the music.
Thank you all for your patience. Bechvod Rosh Yeshiva, our proud parents, grandparents, teachers, faculties, our esteemed graduates, and all who have joined us through live stream. Welcome. Thank you for joining us as we celebrate this special milestone together. I would like to acknowledge the presence of our Rosh Yeshiva, and as well as the dedicated and talented Moros, teachers, and faculty members who are in attendance. Thanks to all of you for the integral role you have played in our accomplishments, in our graduates' accomplishments, and for contributing to their special experience here in Torres MS. Our program will begin with a message from one of our Rosh Yeshiva. I'd like to call upon Rabbi Nyman for some divrei bracha.
Good evening, parents, grandparents. I think there's even some great-grandparents here from what I understand. And siblings, friends, and of course, graduates. Wow. Honestly, I'm so inspired to be here with you girls because I see in you the future of Klal Yisrael. You know what that means? Future Neshei Chayil. This side also, both of you, okay? Both sides, okay? Future girls who will take the helm in your communities and your families and bring up wonderful, beautiful Torah families. The truth is, I think you're all very, very lucky. Why do I say that? Because you've been given a wonderful Torah chinuch, a chinuch which emphasizes, obviously, chesed, 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 tznius, 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 chashivas haTorah, midos, derech eretz. You've learned it all, girls. And that means you're prepared to go to the next stage, to become greater future Benos and Anshe Chayil. I want to share with you one message which I think is very crucial, which I'm sure you've heard before, and it's probably nothing new, but it's important to emphasize it again and again and again. There's a famous Gemara, which I assume they learn in the girls' division over and over again, Noshim b'may kozachyon. The Gemara wants to know, how are women zocha to Olam Haba? How are they merit? In what schus? And the Gemara answers, you know how they merit? Because they encourage their husbands and encourage and wait for their sons and daughters to come back to go and come back to the yeshiva, to the Beis Yaakov, to the girls' school. That's how they're zocha. And the question which the Gedolim asked, which many people ask, what's the Gemara's question? What do you mean, how are they zocha? You have tons and tons and hundreds of mitzvos. Like I mentioned before, mitzvah of chesed, mitzvah of sneas, mitzvah of derech eretz, mitzvah of kashrus. There's so many mitzvahs. What do you mean, how are they zocha? Don't you girls feel you have a lot of mitzvahs to do? Maybe overwhelming sometime, right? A lot of mitzvahs, right? So what do you mean, how is zocha? I don't understand the question. And the answer is, because everybody, men and women, boys and girls, need the learning of Torah. And since girls are not obligated to learn Torah, the Gemara's question was, how do you survive? What's this chus? There's this powerful Yetzer Hara out there. Out in the world out there, it's very, very challenging. There's a lot out there which draws us away from Torah. There's only one antidote. You know what that is? The learning of Torah. But the Gemara says you have tremendous, tremendous opportunities. You know why? Because you also have the same schus as the men, as your future husbands, as your children, because you support and encourage and inspire Torah. So remember, girls, this is what you learned all your years. The main thing is Torah, 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 the power. The power and beauty of Torah is what attracts a young man and a young woman and a young girl to go ahead and give them the strength to go ahead and do what's right and protect yourselves from the evil or negative influence in the world at large. You know, many of you girls will be professionals, whether it's doctors or dentists or lawyers, and Amir Hashem, hopefully, for our sake, moros. We need good moros, girls. We need good moros. We have a lot of good moros here, but we need more. Right? We need more good moros. So whatever you become, but remember one thing. You have the most beautiful and wonderful opportunity in the world. You know what that is? As we mentioned before, to encourage and to facilitate, enable your family, including yourselves, to learn Torah and protect yourselves. That's the invincible shield that we're all given. So girls, you should go on. You've been given the tools. You've been given the opportunity. Continue. Don't force it. It's not an easy job. It's a challenge. You have a challenge, girls. Every one of you. Right? Even the ones I can't see. All you girls have an opportunity and a challenge. Grab it. Run with it. Become benos and anshe chayil. Make your parents, your grandparents, and your great-grandparents, and even Torah Semis, make us all very proud of you. Hatzlacha Rabbah.
Amen. Thank you so much, Rabbi Nyman. We are now going to turn our attention to the screens around the room to see the first part of 3 messages from our graduates and their highlights of what stood out for them during their experience here. Please give your attention to the screens around the room.
Over my many years at Tourist MS, I have been on so many class trips. There was Lion Country Safari, Le Chocolatier, and Butterfly World. But the trip that I liked most of all was the one where we went to the old Davie Schoolhouse. That trip was extra special because we didn't only get to have fun, we also got to do hands-on learning. We didn't just see pictures of people washing laundry on boards, we got to experience doing it ourselves. We didn't only hear about what their houses were like, we got to go inside of one. I really enjoyed that experience.
One of my favorite memories from Torah Summits is when I went to the Miami Seaquarium in 2nd grade. I got to see so many animals and I got to spend time with my friends. One of the best parts of the trip was when I got lost in the bathroom and the teacher came looking for me right away. That's how I know the teachers always cared about me. I always loved all the trips that I had in Torah Summit.
My favorite class trip in 5th grade was when we went to the old Davie Schoolhouse. I got to experience what life was like for people who lived in the 1800s. When we were there, we did a lot of things such as pumping water, washing clothes by hand on a washboard, and then hanging them up to dry on the line, playing with baby animals, and so much more. We all write with ink pens. Going to the Old Davy Schoolhouse was one of my highlights of 5th grade.
One of my favorite things about Taurus MS was going to the chocolate factory. My mom chaperoned, so I got picked to go in my mom's car, and so did some of my friends. It was really fun ride. When we got to the chocolate factory, I was so excited. I introduced the rest of my class to my mom, and finally we got in. It was so cool. The walls were full of chocolate, and the guy that owned the store was also Jewish. We got to make our own chocolate, and it tasted so good. It was really a great experience.
The Old Davy Schoolhouse was super fun. I learned so much there because of all of you. You taught me so much, and hopefully in the future we can go again for more memories. It was so much fun when I learned how to write with a quill. And now I just want to say thank you for everything that you have done for me, even outside the trip. Thank you for making this smile on my face possible.
Trips in Taurus MS are always so fun. In the school, I went to Chai Walk, the chocolate factory, the Old Davy Schoolhouse, and for our graduation trip, we went to Sunsplash and Sky Zone. All of them were really exciting. One after another, we all had a blast. Even though I'm leaving the school, I will still have these memories that I definitely won't forget.
The best class trip we went on was in 5th grade when we went to Le Chocolatier. We had just finished reading Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and we went on this trip as a follow-up. When we first arrived, they gave us a tour around the building. They showed us all of the different amazing things they had made out of chocolate. Next, we went into this room where we got to dip strawberries, pretzels, and marshmallows into chocolate and add sprinkles and chocolate drizzle as toppings. Next, we went into a different section, and they allowed us to choose a mold to fill with brightly colored chocolate to make lollipops. The day was so much fun that when we got back to school, we each got a full box of chocolates we made. I love that trip.
One of the best things we did this year was our trip to the chocolate factory. While we were there, we saw a lot of small but fascinating chocolates. Then we made molds of chocolates and dipped pretzels, strawberries, and marshmallows into white and dark chocolate. It was delicious. I loved my trip to the chocolate factory. It was one of my favorite trips.
One of my favorite memories this year was going to the Old Davy Schoolhouse. I had so much fun. They taught us about so many cool things, like outhouses, how people used to do their laundry, and we even got to pet animals. I was very lucky to be there and experience it with my friends.
When we went to the Old Davy Schoolhouse, I had so much fun. After we got there, we all learned about how the entire school was in one big room. Then we split up into groups by class. We saw a model of what a cottage from the pioneer days looked like. Then we washed clothing the olden days way by scrubbing it on a washboard. After that, we got to my favorite part, where we were allowed to play with farm animals in a pen. I especially loved that we got to hold the animals too. When we went to the old schoolhouse, we each got a pen, a bottle of ink, and a piece of paper. We got to practice writing the old-fashioned way, which I loved. The trip was really the highlight of my 5th grade year.
My experience at Taurus MS was awesome. One thing I really loved was doing canteen and pizza because we would walk around feeling like we owned the world. I really liked going to the class and giving all the little kids their canteen and pizza. It was also really good because we were the leaders and they would always listen to us. Doing canteen and pizza was a really good experience for me at Taurus MS.
I really enjoyed getting the chance to be a pizza head. It was a fun and also sometimes hard experience. I got to work with girls that were not in my class and got to know them better. Being a pizza head was a big responsibility. We had to give each class the exact amounts of pizza, and we also needed to make sure each class came back with all of the boxes. When we first started, it was really challenging, but the more we did it, we got better and faster at setting up the boxes. I'm really grateful that I got to have this opportunity.
I have so many fun memories in YTCTE. If I had to pick one of my favorites, I would pick pizza and canteen. Being in charge of the pizza and canteen every Friday is very fun. One thing I like about it is that me and my partner get to have an important job and make other girls happy when they get their food. I really enjoy doing it every week.
When I was in first grade, I was so excited to become a fifth grader and be able to do pizza and canteen for other girls. It looked so exciting, like it was so much fun. This year we got to see for ourselves. It is so much fun. I did canteen for fourth grade this year, and I looked forward to it every week. When I did canteen, my partner and I switched off running to get more chips and drinks for the fourth grade class. I also like doing pizza because my partner and I switched off jobs, so one of us got to call out names while the other one of us got to give out pizza. I really like doing canteen and pizza, and I will always remember doing it.
One of my favorite memories from fifth grade was getting to do canteen. I loved it because I got to spend time with my friends while we did our jobs, and I got to know them better. I also got to know some girls from the other classes we were working with. I liked walking around the school with my friends, and I also liked giving out all the chips and soda. Doing canteen was definitely a highlight of my time at Torah Sema.
One of the best things about being in 5th grade at Torah Semes is the fact that we get to be in charge of giving out pizza and canteen on Fridays to all of the grades. Out of all of the many Torah Semes memories I have, this one is my favorite. One of the reasons I liked this so much was that I got to know my class better and I really got to know my partner well. The best part about the job was when we would get to call out the girls' names and hand out the slices. I really enjoyed talking to the girls from the class we were giving it out to. I'm going to really miss doing pizza and canteen so much.
One of my favorite trips in 3rd grade was going to a restaurant called Chaiwak. There, Mara Yofi showed us her wedding dress. Because we were learning about Rachel Imenu, didn't want to embarrass her sister, so she told Leah the signs and let her marry Yaakov instead of marrying Esav. We also had so much fun eating all together in our Shabbos clothes. It is really hard leaving this school and all my teachers. I will never forget the amazing experience of being here.
My most favorite part about Torah Semes were the Chumash Siyams. They were so fun. We always played games, we got to wear Shabbos clothes, and we got a review of what we learned. Last year, we learned Parshas Vayeshev and Meet Kids with Mrs. Fried. For our first Siyam, we wore our Shabbos clothes, brought in food, and watched a movie. For the second Siyam, we got to paint music notes and a siddur. This year, we learned Parshas Shemos with Mrs. Palgon. We brought in food and drinks and also played a review game. Some girls also got to say a Dvar Torah. It was so fun. I will never forget the amazing CMs I had in Torah Semes.
In 4th grade, one of my greatest memories were all the CMs. The CMs were always so unique and fun. Mrs. Khan always planned the best CMs for us to enjoy. One time, we had ice cream and we played a bunch of games and had so much fun. In one of the other CMs, we painted a siddur with musical notes on a canvas, and it was so much fun. I very much enjoyed all the 4th grade CMs and wish I could relive all of those memories again.
Of all the many things I did here at Torah Semes, one I will truly remember is the Chaiwak Siyam. After we finished Parshas Chayei Sarah, Mara Yofi and Mrs. Goldenberg took us to celebrate the wedding of Yitzchak and Rivka. We all dressed up in our Shabbos clothes in honor of the special occasion. I remember we each got to choose to order either hot dog or chicken nuggets. We entered the party room all excited. After we ate, the teachers told us Divrei Torah. They even took out a wedding dress to make us feel like we were really at a wedding. The Chaiwak Siyam is something I will truly remember forever.
We now have the great schus to hear Divrei Bracha from Rabbi Bauman. Rabbi Bauman is the secret behind all success in our yeshiva. His dedication for the klal and to each individual knows no limits. Rabbi Bauman's leadership is a constant inspiration to all. It is with great honor that I call upon Rabbi Bauman.
Thank you, Mrs. Deitch. That was just the first part of, I think, 3 parts, so don't get nervous. I'm the I guess, halftime show. Right. Want to wish a mazel tov to the parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, those of you who are joining us on the live stream. And girls, I apologize for my back, but you can see my front on the screens. I'm going to try to just deliver a message that is appropriate for a graduation. It's a time that's been long in coming. The girls have been waiting a long time. And, you know, we were hearing about all the fun things that the girls have had, all the good times. And part of growing up is understanding that not everything is always so great. Some days are harder than others. And in this week's Parsha coming up, Parshas Shalach, the Klal Yisrael had a pretty hard time. This was the situation when the Moshe Rabbeinu sent the Meraglim, sent the spies to Eretz Yisrael. And when they came back, they were basically in two groups. There was 10 spies, and there were 2 spies. And the 2 spies led Kalev and Yeshua. So they came back, they checked out all of Eretz Yisrael, all the people, all the situation. And they came back, and Kalev says very stirring words. He says, Ki yachol nuchala. He says, we can go up, and yachol nuchala. We will be able to conquer it. We will be able to do what we need to do to get into Eretz Yisrael. But he was immediately challenged by the other 10 spies. And as they were speaking to the rest of the Jewish people, what they said was, Lo nuchal, we're not able. We're not able to go up, we're not able to conquer Eretz Yisrael. And each and every one of us, and the graduates, you too, you have to ask yourself, are you in the group that says, Yachol nuchal, that we're able to? Or are you in the group that says, Lo nuchal, no, we can't do it? Everybody has to decide which one they are. When things get a little bit hard, when things don't go the way you want them to, are you a Yachol nuchal? Yachol, we can do it. Or Lo nuchal, no, it's too hard, we can't do it. And what makes the difference between somebody who says, Yachol nuchal, yeah, we can do it, and the ones who say, Lo nuchal, we can't? The difference is not how smart they are, how rich they are, how strong they are, how important their friends are. None of that is what makes the difference. What makes the difference is what is their attitude. What do you think about yourself? Do you believe in yourself? Are you the kind of person when things are hard, do you say, even though it's hard, I'm going to do it? I don't want to get up for school, but I'm going to go and do it. I didn't pay attention in class, and the test is coming up, but I'm going to study extra hard. Or your person said, okay, I have an excuse, I can't do it. And those people who say lo nuchal end up not accomplishing much in their lives. And we see that the key to being able to say nuchal is something that we find in a statement of the Kli Yakar, one of the great Mefarshim, the commentators in the Chumash. And he says that the real person, the real being who can say Yachal, we can do it, that's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem is the one who can do anything, and we know that. And if we attach ourselves and we say that we are going with Hashem, we believe Hashem can do anything, and we believe that what He told us to do, His Torah and His mitzvos, His learning, His chesed, His sensitivity to other people, that's how I'm going to live my life, because I'm going to attach myself to Hashem. So by going in that path, we are going in the path of Yachol Nuchal. Yes, I can certainly do it. I will be able to do it. I will be able to accomplish. So girls, getting to graduate 5th grade doesn't just happen because you're able to go to Chaiwak and be pizza heads and go to Sequarium and all the other great things. Anybody can do that. But you are graduating because you have had many moments of Yachol Nuchal, yes, I can do it. And you have to take that with you and realize within you lies such a tremendous power to be able to see whatever comes whatever might be hard for you, whatever might be a difficulty, and you say, I'm going to be part of the people who say, Yochal Nuchal. I'm attaching myself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm going to go in the way of my parents, my grandparents, my moros, my rabbis. This is the way to go. This is the way to find success in life. In Yitz Hashem, we should hear all the good things that you accomplish in the future, in the near future, and way off in the future. And together with your parents, grandparents, we're able to share a lot of nachas from you, and you from yourselves, each other. And we should always be together because we are Yochal Nuchal. Mazel tov.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Bauman. We are now going to turn our attention again back to the screens for the continuation of the girls, as well as a surprise presentation.
What I want to talk about is our coding competition. We went to Hillel for the competition, where we were competing against 9 other schools. I was on the TE Robots team. We got the mechanical award, and we also had our very own team sweatshirts. I would like to thank Mrs. Shaffron for being our team leader and my teammates for helping me with any questions or hard codes, and especially a big thank you to our robot, Johnny Apples.
Since I started at Torah SMS in 3rd grade, the activity that stood out the most to me was robotics. Before anyone got chosen to attend the competition, there were a lot of things we had to do in order to earn our spot. Together with our partners, we had to build a robot and even had to make it to code difficult challenges. The most special part was robotics, was that we needed to use teamwork and have to respect each other in order to succeed. When we got to the competition, we felt like we didn't fit in because we were more modestly dressed than everyone else. But we realized we were being examples of a positive should present themselves. When things didn't go our way, we were upset, but realized it was okay and moved on. We won an award for mechanical activities, but the only reason that we achieved it was because we worked together. Robotics taught me so many great lessons that I will never forget.
One of my highlights of being in Torah SMS was robotics. When I was in 4th grade, I started learning coding and robotics. This year, we built and coded our own Lego robots. Towards the middle of the year, Mrs. Shaffron told us there was going to be a robotics competition in the spring. The 3 weeks before the competition, we found out which one of us was going to the competition. When she said my name, I was shocked. We practiced for 3 weeks and tried to get as many missions completed as possible. There were so many girls from 5th grade going to the competition that we realized we needed to make 2 different teams. The day of the competition, Torah SMS won the Mechanical Building Award. The robotics competition is one of my highlights of 5th grade.
I really enjoyed our coding class. It was so much fun. I love building the robots with my partner Yael. We built hands for our robot. Our favorite thing to do is build the missions. We also code our robot to do really cool things. At the end of the year, some girls even got chosen to go to Lego coding competition. Sadly, I couldn't go, but I still went somewhere to practice the missions we did with Esther. This was my favorite subject.
My Torah SMS memory was being a part of the robotics program. It was so much fun working together as a team. My favorite part was when we did all of the challenges, like the cup challenge and when we had to come up with a code in 5 minutes. It was also so exciting when we could actually get our coding to work. At the competition, we were so happy when we found out we won an award. Working on coding all year and then being part of the robotics team was truly a highlight of my time at Torah SMS.
Color War has always been one of the highlights of each school year for me. I was especially looking forward to this year's Color War because I knew that as 5th graders we would get to be captains. The colors for the teams were pink and purple, and we got to do 6 or 7 activities and challenges throughout the day. We got to lead the younger girls while doing so. Color War will always be something about Torah SMS that I will remember.
Color War at Torah SMS is a blast.
When you take one step outside, all you can hear is everyone cheering, "Go pink" or "Go purple." It's so much fun. Everyone makes sure that everyone's included in all the fun activities. There are physical activities like running races and climbing. There are also word competitions and a Kahoot. For lunch, there's always a barbecue with hot dogs, chips, and soda. At the end of the day, both teams, pink and purple, get together for a grand sing. Each team gets a song to sing. Whichever sings the loudest gets the points. Then we all sing a song or two together to show we all have achtos. I will always remember my many Color War memories.
My Torah Summer's Color War experience was amazing. What I always loved about Color War was all the games that we played. The best part about Color War was in 5th grade that we got to be the captains. I loved being a captain because it made it more exciting to have the privilege of being the oldest. I always look forward to the part where they announce the winner. For my personal experience, Color War was always the best.
This is my 5th year in Torah Summit, but also sadly my last year. I've had such great memories here, and it's so sad that I will soon be leaving. One thing that I will miss a lot is Color War. It was always so much fun when we worked together with great teamwork, and whichever team won, whether it was pink or purple, it really never mattered because we always had a great time doing the challenges and working together. I really loved when we all cheered for our teams, and we had such a great time. Color War will always be a memory that I won't forget and something that I always very much miss about Torah MS.
The highlight of my 5th grade year was being able to learn, talk, and play with the students in the GEMS program. Working with the GEMS was my favorite part of any day. What I appreciated about them was how the students were all so nice and loved to have fun. I also could tell they enjoyed working with us as much as we enjoyed working with them. Having this program at our school was a really special opportunity for us all. I'm grateful this program started while I was still here. Now that I'm moving on to middle school, I hope my connection with these students will continue.
One of my favorite memories of 5th grade is GEMS. Every Monday, a few girls in my class are chosen to go play with our GEMS friends. The teachers assign us games and work to do with them, and we have so much fun. I know that it makes it so special for my brother who goes there to see me in school, and I also know that we are doing a big chesed with them.
One of my favorite things I loved about going to Torah MS was the opportunity to work with the GEMS program. I loved working with GEMS because I liked talking to the students. They were all kind and sweet. Whenever we would get to work with them, they were so happy, and we were too. I especially loved when they joined us for special events and activities. They learned a lot from us, but we learned even more from them.
Working with the students at GEMS was one of the highlights of my 5th grade year. I loved going to their class on Wednesday to help them with math and reading, playing games, doing projects, learning, and so much more. All of the GEMS were so friendly and so much fun to be around. I had a great relationship with one of the kids in particular. Every time she saw me, she would always give me a hug. Working with the students of GEMS is one memory of 5th grade that I will always remember.
The thing I love most about KES is our partnership with GEMS. Even though we only started the program this year, it's like we were doing it for so long. I love our GEMS friends and look forward to spending time with them each week. I've learned a lot from each of my GEMS friends, and I hope that they have learned from me too.
One of the things I looked forward to every week at Torah MS was working with the students at GEMS. The students we worked with were fun and funny, and I loved getting to do activities with them. Working with them made me feel loved and happy, and I knew they felt the same way about us. The GEMS students have such special hearts, and that's why I loved working with them.
Working with the GEMS program is one of my highlights of my 5th grade year. We got to do activities with them like math, reading, writing. I found a special connection with one of the students who really taught me a good lesson because he made me realize that everyone around me is special in their own way. GEMS truly made a difference in my life and changed me forever. I am so thankful that I had this opportunity.
Thank you, 5th graders, for being such good role models. We're really, really going to miss you. Happy graduation.
Happy graduation. Thank you for helping me.
Bye.
Bye.
Esther, I love you.
Happy wishing. We all love you.
Love you.
Dr. Berman joined our team 3 years ago from supporting teachers, planning professional development, curriculum, covering lunches, recesses, and PE. Dr. Berman is an essential part of our team. He will be sorely missed by all of our girls and by our yeshiva. We wish him only much continued hatzlacha and thank him for ensuring that our students receive a stellar secular education. It is a great honor to call upon our General Studies Principal, Dr. Berman.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Deitch. Chvod Rabbi Bauman, Rabbanim, dear graduates, traditionally, graduation speakers share a message or encourage students to act in a certain way. I want to do something a little bit different this evening. I want to thank you, graduates, for teaching me an important lesson. So let me explain. A few weeks ago, I was at a birthday party. The birthday boy had Down syndrome, and most of his friends were special needs. At some point during that party, some of the kids started dancing, and they encouraged me to join the dancing. So I'll tell you that I'm not at my best at Yachad events, and that dance floor was definitely outside of my comfort zone. And so I thought I would do what I usually do, which is clap and sing, but from a safe distance. And then I thought to myself, what would the 5th grade girls do? And what would they want me to do? So you're clapping. Thank you. So I had the privilege of supervising the 5th grade girls' PE in the morning for much of the year. Of course, I enjoyed schmoozing with the girls, dealing with the occasional drama. No drama. Answering some of their riddles, trying to puzzle them with my own riddles. I don't know if you know the girls here love riddles. Some of the girls love riddles. But the most impactful part, for sure, for me, was watching, as you saw, the girls interact with our GEM students. So how did they interact with our GEM students? Totally naturally. It was completely natural for them to focus not on the obvious differences between them and the GEM students, but on the essential similarity, which is that they, we, and them are created in the Tzelem Elokim, the image of Hashem. And it wasn't only during PE, it was when they invited them to their classes, it was on campus, off campus, it was everywhere. So back to that party. So even though I was tempted to kind of sing and clap, but from afar, I joined the dancing. And at first it was a little bit uncomfortable, but I must say, once we got into it, it was actually a lot of fun. And so, graduates, I want to thank you for teaching me how to interact, by showing me how to interact with special needs children, with love, compassion, and a whole lot of heart. Thank you for that very important lesson. So speaking of love and compassion, I want to take a moment to thank our 5th grade team, Mrs. Berkman, Mrs. Palgon, Mrs. Ehrenreich, Mrs. Palti, Ms. Shafrin, Mrs. Tuchinski, and Rabbi Fried. So not only do you teach them, Mrs. Rizal is here. Mrs. Rizal, sorry. That's why I write it down. I apologize. Not only do you teach them math and reading and Chumash and Kriya, but you tend to their social and emotional needs. You do it with a tremendous amount of love and dedication and professionalism. Our students, their parents, we and Klal Yisrael are the beneficiaries. Thank you, thank you. Graduates, my bracha to you is that you will always treat those who look a little different, maybe act a little different, as you treat the students in GEMS. It won't always be easy, trust me, but Amir Tzah Hashem. And in that merit, all those who interact with you should treat you as the Tzelem Elohim that you are. I wish you tremendous success in middle school and beyond. Mazel tov parents, mazel tov graduates, mazel tov, mazel tov.
Thank you so much, Dr. Berman. We will now turn our attention once again to the video for the final message from our graduates.
I can't believe this is the last year of elementary school. I've been in this school for 7 years and it's going to be hard to leave. One of my favorite parts of school is the Purim Carnival. I like to asking everyone if they wanted to guess how many were in the jar together with my partner Tamima. It was so much fun, and when we were done with our job, we went on the slides. Then we got cotton candy and snow cones. It was a blast. The carnival is one of the reasons why I'll always miss this school.
I really like the day we had our winter celebration in 5th grade. On the first day of winter in Mrs. Aroneich's class, we brought in winter gear like coats, scarves, and gloves. We had a science lesson about the winter solstice, and then we learned how to make paper snowflakes. We decorated the classroom by hanging the snowflakes up. We all got hot chocolate with marshmallows and whipped cream. We ended the party by taking photo ops with all of the wintry things. It was so much fun.
At the start of every school year, I would always look forward to the Malava Malkas. The Malava Malkas were special to me because I got to go out with my mom and spend time with just the two of us. The school always brought in a person to sing or lead a kumzis, where we all sat in a circle and sang songs together. Another reason why I look forward to those Malava Malkas is because we got to eat yummy food instead of leftovers from Shabbat. I'm going to miss those Malava Malkas.
My favorite thing that we did in YTCTE was the walkathon. I had so much fun walking and running 50 laps. I really appreciate that all the teachers worked so hard to do it. I really like that we were hot, we got ices and Gatorade. The walkathon was so much fun.
I would like to take a minute to talk about the Hanukkah party. One of my favorite parts about it was that there was a play in it and I got to be the only Maccabee. We also got to show it to every grade in school. I still remember my lines. If you're wondering why I would miss it, it's because I had the best time. Even though I was in 3rd grade, I felt like I was trusted. I got to be in charge of all the games and told all the grades the rules. Mariofi had worked so hard to make everything perfect and fun for us, not just the visitors. And that's why the Hanukkah party is one of the memories I will miss the most.
This was my first year at Torah Emes, and the day I looked forward to every week was Friday. Every Friday we had our Erev Shabbos assembly, and those were the best because I loved all the singing and dancing. The YTCTE and Chesed songs were my favorites. I also enjoyed when the teachers would come up and tell us stories and Divrei Torah. And I always loved when Granny came to the assemblies. The Erev Shabbos assemblies were so much fun. I am glad I got to be a part of them as part of my Torah Emes experience.
I can't believe that I'm going to leave this school after 6 years. All my memories that I gathered over the years are amazing. My favorite memory is the Purim Carnival. It's my favorite memory because we got to run the booths with my partner Ayala. Afterwards, we got to play on the bounce houses and eat snow cones and cotton candy, which were delicious. It was such a fun way to celebrate Purim.
One of the things I loved about Torah Emes was when we got to celebrate Pi Day in 5th grade. On March 14th, the date was 314, we learned that 3.14 is the numerical value of pi. We learned about how that formula measures a circle. After we learned we had a pie celebration. We got pizza pie as a surprise, and then for an activity, we baked mini fruit pies. We then had a contest to see who could memorize the most digits of pi. It was a fun way to learn something new in math.
The Women's History Wax Museum was something that I really enjoyed being a part of. We picked a famous woman from history and read her biography. Then we wrote a small summary of the woman's life. We got to dress up as the woman. We presented our museum in the tent, and our parents and grandparents got to come. When they came, we acted like we were the woman. We studied, and we read them our summaries to tell about our lives. Even the teachers from other classes were invited to come. It was a really great experience.
One of my favorite days of the school year is always the walkathon. On the day of the walkathon, there is a barbecue lunch, and we don't have to wear a uniform. We go across the street, and we get necklaces with cards on them. And every time we do a lap, we get a hole punched on our card. When we get to 10 laps, we get an Ices, and when we get to 25 laps, we get a Gatorade. And when we get to 40 laps, we get another Ices. The maximum amount of laps anyone could do is 50. The school gives out sunglasses and a t-shirt if we raise $50 or more. On the day of the walkathon, there is also a video we get to watch, and we get to hang out with our friends.
When I think about all the fun things we have done over the years at Torah Semes, the one thing that stands out for me the most was the annual Shushan Purim Carnival. That carnival was the most fun to me because they gave out treats like snow cones and cotton candy. They also had fun booths with different games, and there were so many fun things to do. This past year in 5th grade, we got to run the booths ourselves, which was really cool. Besides all of these things, there were even bounce houses and slides. I looked forward to it each year because at the Shushan Purim Carnival, it was just impossible to be sad. I enjoyed it so much.
One of the projects I really enjoyed was the animal diary in 4th grade. Mrs. J had us choose an animal, and then we had to write about the animal, as if you were actually one yourself. I chose a dolphin for my animal diary. Mrs. J helped us to do the research and writing, and also showed us some pictures that we could choose from on her computer. I love this project because it helped me in other subjects.
My favorite part about Torah Semes was the Arab Shabbos assemblies. Every week I have something exciting to look forward to. Sometimes the assemblies have singing or dancing, sometimes even watching fun videos. I especially love how we always get up on our chairs and start to sing. Whenever we would sing together, it makes me feel like we're one big family. Now we're close to the end of the year, but I know that no matter what, I will never forget Torah Semes Shabbos assemblies.
Every year at Torah Semes, I always look forward to Lag BaOmer. On Lag BaOmer, our school has color war. The teams are always either pink or purple, and there's a ton of activities to do. As a 5th grader, you are a captain. That means you are assigned a group of people that are younger than you, that you are responsible for to guide and lead through the day. We have a barbecue for lunch, and we watch a movie. At the end of the day, we get Ices and clean up. Then we have a singing competition between each team. It was always such a fun day, and I look forward to it every year.
One of the most memorable times of my Torah Semes experience was in 1st grade when we got our Siddurim. I remember eating my bagel while wearing my Shabbos clothes and sitting with my friends. My favorite part was when Rabbi Bauman asked me about my siddur. I worked so hard on the cover and was so excited to tell him all about it. To this day, I still use that same siddur, and this memory always comes back to me.
I want to say a big thank you to all of the teachers who helped plan my favorite event from 5th grade, the Women's History Wax Museum. We worked so hard on our biographies for almost 2 months, perfecting our presentations, getting our costumes right, and writing paragraphs about the women we studied. We worked so hard on everything, and then the day arrived. We excitedly got our costumes on, frozen position in the tent. Once the museum opened, we kept repeating the words on our small index cards, trying to say each word correctly. To the parents and staff, it was an experience I will never forget.
One of my favorite things about Torah Semes is the weekly Shabbos assembly. These assemblies are so much fun. When I hear the announcement over the loudspeaker saying all girls are now invited to the Shabbos assembly, I get so excited. There's always something different and excited, like a visit from Granny or when Tante Hilda comes to town, because they're so funny. I love that when we're all at the Shabbos assembly, every single girl from our school is together, and that makes it even more fun. The Erev Shabbos assembly is one of my favorite parts of every week.
The Rainforest Project in 3rd grade was probably my favorite one of the things I got to do in elementary school. It was very exciting and special to me because I love learning about animals. When we did this project, we learned all about the animals that live in the rainforest and their lives and their habitats. We studied their lives and their habitats. We even made our classroom into a rainforest by hanging up vines and filling the classroom with stuffed animals. When we finished learning all about the rainforest, we each got to choose one animal to study, write, and learn about. I picked the jaguar. When we got to make a paper mask to represent our animal and we present it to our parents, I will always remember the Rainforest Project.
I have a big shout out to my ACE teachers. They really helped me through all my years here at YTCTE. They taught me never to give up and to help me with the work and when it was difficult for me. They made a big difference. I'm really going to miss all my amazing teachers.
I was new to Torah Semes this year, and my first day at school was great. At first, I was really shy and nervous, but the second I entered my new classroom, everyone was so welcoming and made me feel at home. There was actually another new person in my class, and realizing that I was not the only new girl made it easier for me. Although I've been in this school for a year, it feels like I've known my class for a long time, and I will miss everyone a lot.
One of my highlights of my time at Torah Semes was having butterflies in our 3rd grade classroom. It was a lot of fun watching the caterpillars turn into butterflies and then setting the butterflies free. As we watched them fly away, I felt happy that they grew up and were able to fly away. I also appreciated that I not only got to learn all about the butterfly cycle, but that I got to see it in motion. I had a lot of fun watching these caterpillars turn into beautiful butterflies. It's a memory I will never forget.
I first came to Torah Semes in 3rd grade. Everything was so different, especially because I was during COVID. Everyone was wearing face masks. Also, I spoke Spanish, but everybody else spoke English. I remember Mrs. Deitch taking me upstairs to my new classroom. At first, I thought, as a new student, I would be the shy and quiet one. In no time, it felt here I've been here in the beginning. I loved my time at Torah Semes, and I'm truly going to miss it here.
I can't believe the year is almost over. I remember when I was only in kindergarten. I didn't know anything. I'm now in 5th grade. I'm more mature, I'm smarter, and the school has been amazing all along. The teachers teach me so much, and the staff is always so helpful. This school taught me so much, and now I need to say goodbye.
When I first came to Torah Semes, it was in the middle of COVID-19. I did not know anyone. I was just a girl trying to hide under my mask. Then one girl came up to me and introduced herself and told me her name. Until this day, she is still one of my very close friends. Over time, I made more friends, and now I feel like I've been here forever. I know that whatever separate paths we all take, I will always meet kind friends who will help me along the way.
This was my first year at YTCTE. When I walked into the classroom for the first time, I felt nervous and scared, but then the love and care of the girls and teachers hit me, and I immediately felt calm. Everybody welcomed me and made me feel like I had already been a part of the school all along. Although I only came at the start of this year, I feel like I have been here forever. I've never seen another school be able to show such love and care to their students. Now I am leaving and it is so hard to say goodbye. I really appreciated the way everybody worked to make me feel comfortable here. Thank you so much.
I've been in Torah Semes for 6 years. I remember when I first came to kindergarten and everyone made me feel so welcome. I also remember when we had our siddur party in 1st grade. My mom and dad helped me decorate my siddur very nicely, and everyone was so sweet and complimented it. It made me feel so special. I'm so sad to leave this school, but I will always remember it and love it. It's like a second family to me. I love Torah Semes.
Thank you, Mrs. Palagon, for all that you taught me in 3rd grade, especially the rainforest.
Thank you, Mrs. Shaffrin, for teaching us coding and taking us to the robotics competition.
Thank you, Mrs. Rotman, for being there for me with support.
Thank you, Mrs. Cohen, for making 1st grade fun for us.
Thank you, Mrs. Deitch, for always letting us know how much you care.
Thank you, Mrs. Khan, for being such a good teacher and for all the fun Sion.
Thank you, Mrs. Finkel, for teaching me Shmona Esrei.
Thank you, Ms. Palti, for being such a great teacher and especially your help with math.
Thank you, Mrs. Berkman, for being such a great teacher. We've learned so much from you.
Thank you, Mrs. Moskowitz, for bringing so much energy to our classroom.
Thank you, Mrs. Gill, for making sure that everyone was comfortable in second grade.
Thank you, Ms. Pengui, for making PE so much fun.
Thank you, Mrs. Fry, for making third grade fun.
Thank you, Maura Sarah, for all the fun games that helped us learn Ifrit.
Thank you, Mrs. Franken, for helping me so much.
But before I do, I need to say thank you to all of you.
Thank you, Olga, and the maintenance crew for keeping our classrooms clean and beautiful.
Thank you, Mrs. Freilich, for taking care of us when we come to the office.
Thank you, Ma Racheli, for the beautiful and fun projects.
Thank you, Miss Guaknin, for always greeting us with a smile.
Thank you, Mrs. Bauman, for keeping all our records up to date.
Thank you to all the security staff for keeping us safe.
Thank you, Mrs. Chait, for helping me love Parasha.
Thank you, Mrs. Goldenberg, for being a great sub and a great aunt, too. Thank you, Rabbi Bauman, for running a great school and inspiring everyone.
Thank you, Rabbi Fried, for making Jewish history so interesting.
Thank you, Mrs. Aronach, for making my 5th grade year so exciting.
Thank you, Mrs. Tamir, for keeping our entire school running. Thank you, Mrs. J, for making math easy and fun.
Thank you, Mr. Krish, for keeping our building running and being the best Abba.
Thank you, Mrs. Fox, for being a fun PE coach.
Thank you, Mrs. Freyd, for making learning Chumash fun.
Thank you, Mrs. Searle, for planning so many exciting activities and events.
Thank you, Mrs. Rizal, for making math so fun.
Thank you, Moradi, for making Hebrew so fun, and I'll never forget those Slurpees.
Thank you, Mrs. Heiser, for explaining Chumash so well.
Thank you, Mrs. Al, for teaching math in such a kind and patient way.
Thank you, Mrs. Sachs, for making second grade fun and making sure that we all love manatees.
Thank you, Ms. Pervalsky, for making our tefillos more meaningful.
Thank you, Mrs. Schwartz, for teaching us how to read and write in first grade.
Thank you, Mrs. Drieben, for always keeping the office running smoothly.
Thank you, Mrs. Robin. We missed having the library, and we miss you, too.
Thank you, Mrs. Bargita and Mrs. Davis, for keeping the office running smoothly in the afternoon.
Thank you, Ms. Gallendauer, for leading us through lunch every day.
Thank you, Mrs. Selmer, for coaching us at PE and keeping our playground super clean.
Thank you, Mrs. Tuchinski, for your expert math instructions.
Thank you, Mr. Abel and the maintenance staff for keeping our school sparkling clean.
Thank you, Mrs. Mizrahi, for packing our lunches so nicely.
Thank you, Mrs. Goldberg, for listening to our problems and helping us solve them. Thank you, Mrs. Lubin, for helping me with such patience when I didn't understand math. Thank you, Mrs. Marlowe, for being there when we needed support. Thank you, Mrs. Glott, for your lunch supervision.
Thank you, Rabbi Ralph, for keeping our facilities up and running.
Thank you, Mariah Yofi, for making third grade so much fun. Y gracias por ser la mejor mamá del mundo.
Thank you, Mrs. Rosenberg, for helping our first graders read and write Hebrew.
Thank you, Mrs. Rosenbaum, for all your dedication to the second graders.
Thank you, Mrs. Dennis, for always being so nice and dedicated to all the students.
Thank you, Mrs. Rizal, for making sure that we get to and from school safely each day.
Thank you, More Music, for bringing so much joy to our lives.
Thank you, Mrs. Koppel, for always giving us a place to talk about our feelings.
Thank you, Mrs. Berman, for running the ACE program and making sure that every kid could learn.
To all of the teachers and staff, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Before we end our presentation, there's one more person who needs our commendation.
A person who has helped lead our school each day, advising students and teachers all along the way.
He is leaving our school to start something new, but before he goes, there's one thing we must do.
And that is to say to Dr. Werman, we appreciate the leadership in all we learn.
Just like us, this year you are leaving Torah Summers. Our Karas Tov is what we wish to stress. We wish you best of luck in your new endeavor. Your mark on KES will surely last forever. Thank you, Dr. Berman.
Let's give another round of applause to our graduates for a job well done. Kol hakavod. I have a very short message before we're going to give out the diplomas. I wanted to speak for a couple of minutes in regard to the theme of this year, which was Olam Chesed Yibana, creating a world of kindness, being a giver, looking for places we can give and where we can help. Graduates, you have earned yourself quite a reputation, both as individuals and as a graduating class. It is one that I'm sure will stay with you as you continue into middle school and beyond. The day after your graduation trip, when all of you were not in school, not only did our school feel different, it actually looked different from the moment I walked onto campus that morning. One day back in January, you realized the time and the effort it took for one of the women on our maintenance staff crew to line up the preschool bicycles. From that moment on, this class, you, took it upon yourself to meticulously and punctually line up those bikes every single day to save that job from being included in the workload of Maria, who previously probably dreaded it. You have become such great givers. I saw this great quote that I wanted to share. Life is all about give and take. Give thanks and take nothing for granted. That is exactly how you girls act. You have learned so much about giving, whether it's to GEMS or the younger students in our school. We all have been the beneficiaries. But you also learned about the gifts that are given to you, about the chesed, and recognize and notice the endless chesed of others, your parents, your teachers, and ultimately HaKadosh Baruch Hu. A final thought, traveling all the way back to first grade, our theme was growing in greatness. I believe you girls have truly done that. I am bursting with pride on how far you have each come. May you continue to be a source of nachas to your parents, your grandparents, your teachers, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and make us and yourselves proud. Mazel tov, graduates. I'd now like to call upon our fifth grade teachers to help with the distribution of the diplomas. Mrs. Berkman, Mrs. Ehrenreich, Mrs. Palagan, and Ms. Palti, please come forward. We will be calling the classes alphabetically. Please have your cameras ready. Bracha Amster, Tamar Akrish, Leah Azra, Chava Bistritz, Mindy Ashkenazi, and Shaili Barachel. Bella Baruch, Naomi Cohen, Aliyah Shakron, and Sarah Braz. Dina Brown, Ayelet Friedman, and Hila Cohen. Aliza Diamond, Heaven Gapsy, and Ariella Davis. Rachel Ginsberg, Tamar Goldsmith, and Dina Freed. Aliza Goldenberg, Ava Gedge, Michal Friedman. Ilana Grossman, Malka Handler, and Khani Garbaz. Esther Handler, Mia Castle, and Leah Gill. Devora Hollander, Bela Klugman, Ora Yofi. Meira Koludny, Yocheved Lankry, and Layla Klein. Shandy Laserson, Yael Langford, and Liana Lamette. Tehila Levine, Timima Lassery, and Michal Miner. Shira Mindig, Naomi Pinchasov, and Zahava Nachbar. Shayna Rutka, Ayala Prince, Frida Roth, Tova Rubin, Yael Romero, Talia Rubelau, Shoshana Schwartz, Esther Silverman, and Shira Schwartz. Olga Shimaria, Leora Sokol, and Liba Yudkowitz. Esti Summer, Avital Amlos, and Tali Zimmerman. Nava Zvida, Ateret Yashar, and Yael Zeg. Ma'ayan Zohar. Ma'ayan. Mazel tov to all our graduates. Before we begin our final video of our year in review and a chance to take pictures and enjoy the refreshments that are set up outside in the other tent, I'd like to thank those who helped make this evening possible. Our teachers and faculty for helping the girls reach this milestone and joining us this evening and showing their love and support. Thank you, teachers. To Rabbi Bauman, Dr. Berman, Mrs. Goldberg, Mrs. Koppel for your guidance, insight, and support throughout. To Mr. Carlos Chata and his help with the technical setup, video footage, and editing. Thank you for working your magic. To Mr. Avram Eliezer Friedman, Mrs. Shafrin, Mrs. Yellen, and all our IT staff for the live stream. Thank you. Rabbi Wiener, Mr. Akrish, our Bell and crew for all your help. To Mrs. Cyril, for your countless hours attending to every single detail. The trip, the yearbook, and this event, the decor, the food. Mrs. Cyril, there is no way we could have done it without you. To our incredible office staff, Ms. Simi Waknin, Mrs. Krieger, Mrs. Freilich, Mrs. Drieben, Mrs. Davis, Mrs. Brigida, Mrs. Tamir, Mrs. Deitch, and Mrs. Sarah Goldenberg. Thanks for all your help. Thank you to our PTA who generously sponsored the Sidurim the girls will be receiving. Thank you to Mrs. Umlos for generously providing the delicious cakes and miniatures. To Ms. Esther Shafrin for creating this beautiful video presentation you are about to see. Give your attention to the screen and enjoy our year in review.
It's kept us going all the way. It's growing stronger every day, and we're all a part of this beating heart. For the pulse of our nation is the children that we raise.
They want to learn, they want to hear. They're asking questions, they're sincere. They've got Jewish pride rooted deep inside, and we'll be there to guide them to a future bright and clear.
Our children are our nation, we'll do anything for them. Our children are our mission, our survival and our strength. Our children are the nation, and the nation will endure. For the chain remains unbroken when the children are the core.
Our children are our spirit, if we could only see. Our children see no limit to their possibility. Our children are the purpose and the meaning of it all. They will hold on to the title and continue Klal Yisrael. them daven as they sway. Just hear them speak and what they say, and you might compare to the world out there, and your heart will fill with wonder at our children of today. The rhythm changes every day, each child drumming his own way. Through the joy and tears we will persevere and sing with our children. It's geschmack to be a Yid. Our children are our nation, we'll do anything for them. Our children are our mission, our survival and our strength. Our children are the nation, and the nation will endure, for the chain remains unbroken when the children are the core.
Our children are our spirit, if we could only see. Our children see no limit to their possibility. Our children have purpose and the meaning of it all. They will hold on to the Torah and continue Klal Yisrael.
So let's rise in proud ovation for all those who stand behind.
Each parent, Rebbe Mora, who shapes precious hearts and minds.
We'll do it all for our children, each one in their own way.
Building lifetimes of tomorrow on the moments of today.
Our children are our nation, we'll do anything for
our
children are our nation, our survival and our strength. Our children are the nation, and the nation will endure, for the chain remains unbroken when the children are the core. Ashrecha Shezach Yisrael, Ashrecha, Ashrecha, Ashrecha Shezach Yisrael, Ashrecha, Ashrecha. Le'anik bono shel Matri bono shel Ashrecha, Ashrecha Shezach Yisrael, Ashrecha, Ashrecha. Our children are our spirit, we will always see. Our children see no limit to their possibilities. Our children are the world, and hold on to the Torah and continue Klal Yisrael.
Midvash v'noi festufim, v'noi festufim. Hanechmodim mizav u'mipazra, mizav u'mipazra. U'mesukim midvash v'noi festufim, v'noi festufim. Ay toiv li, toiv raspicha, v'yal v'yizav v'chesed. Toiv li, toiv raspicha,
your opinion. There's room for both of us in every minion. And all the ups and downs that we have been through could never change the way I feel about you. Whoa. No matter where we're from, our roots run deep. We each walk our walk and talk our own talk, but we've got history. Call each other, we're a family. We may look different, but we're part of one great home. Call each other, we're a family. No matter what we're up against, we're not alone. No matter where we go, there's one place we go home. Call each other, we're a family. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Believe echad. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. I may be Ashkenazi, you think Sephardi. Kogol and Achmedin, it's one big party. Under the many kinds of hats we're wearing, there's just one common goal that we are sharing. Whoa. I'll always have your back and you show up for me. We don't see eye to eye, but how would I get by without this guarantee? Call each other, we're a family. We may look different, but we're part of one great home. Call each other, we're a family. No matter what we're up against, we're not alone. No matter where we go, there's one place we go home. Call each other, we're a family. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Believe echad. Raise your hands, 'cause we are so proud to be the best that we can be. NYTCTE, raise your hands, 'cause it's so good to see. Yeshiva, you pave our way. Oh, raise your hands, 'cause we're rising constantly. So fortunate to be NYTCTE, raise your hands. We're part of this great team. You're there for us every day. As the years move on, how far we've come together, and the effort shows our family grows together. So we're reaching higher to light that fire and kindle the spark in each soul. And with help from up above and lots of joy and love, we'll keep on growing. There's no limit with hearts that are open wide. You bring out all the greatness we have inside, and every day in our own way, we all can truly shine. So raise your hands, 'cause we are so proud to be the best that we can be. NYTCTE, raise your hands, 'cause it's so good to see. Yeshiva, you pave our way. Oh, raise your hands, 'cause we're rising constantly. So fortunate to be NYTCTE, raise your hands. We're part of this great team. You're there for
Mazel Tov graduates, we're going to ask for everybody to clear the aisles all the way in the back so the girls can march all the way around, down the steps, and to the left. It's dried up, Baruch Hashem. It is no longer flooded. Down the steps and to the left. Please stay seated until the last graduate exits. Please stay seated and clear the aisles until the last graduate exits. Mazel Tov, graduates of Tafshin Pei Gimel.
לשמחו עליון להגיד בבוקר חסדךו וימונוסו בלילות להגיד בבוקר חסדךו וימונוסו בלילות Lashem, ule zalme le shimcha